Imagine this, you're at an airport excited to return to the US after visiting a family abroad. But instead of a smooth entry, a CBP officer pulls you aside for questioning. They flip through your passport, ask you about your job, how long you were away, and suddenly you're feeling nervous. Minutes turn into an hour, you start wondering, did I do something wrong? Is my visa or green card really at risk? Hi, I'm Simon Shetty, the founder of Smart Green Card, and today we are going to explore a very important question. Is it really safe for immigrants to travel under Trump? Well, with stricter immigration enforcement and unpredictable policy changes, travel isn't really completely as simple as it used to be. So if you're on an H1B or an O1A or an F1 or potentially even a green card, you need to know what to expect before you leave the country. Now, I'm not one to sit here and say that do not travel at all, but it is good for you to understand the lay of the land of what you might need to be prepared for just from an abundance of caution before you leave the country. Quick heads up, I am not an immigration attorney. This video is for informational purposes only. And if you need specific legal advice, you should always consult an immigration lawyer. One of the big concerns right now is increased scrutiny at the border. Under the Trump administration, border officials are under pressure to enforce tougher immigration practices. Now, generally in theory, this is what any country should do, but it is your job to make sure that you are well informed and respectful of these policies. Now, that means that there will be more intense questioning, or there already is, longer wait times also, and a higher chance of being sent for secondary inspection. Now, what is secondary inspection? That's typically inspection which they do. If the primary officer is not satisfied, they send you into a separate room where they dig deeper into your profile. Now, even if you have a valid visa or a green card, you could still face these extra checks in secondary. Now, let's break this down for different groups of travelers. If you are a green card holder, the biggest risk isn't just long wait times. It's proving that you haven't abandoned your US residency. CBP officers consider several factors to determine if you still intend to live in the US and if you are still living in the US. One of the most important factors for that is how long have you been away. Now, if you've been outside the US for more than 6 months, you may face some questions upon re-entry. But technically, if you have been away for over a year, you typically need something called a re-entry permit, which must be obtained before leaving the US to begin with. This permit helps you show that you intended to return even before you leave, but it does not really guarantee a re-entry. CBP officers still have that discretion to assess your case and determine whether you have abandoned your residency or not. Other factors they consider include whether you have been filing US tax returns, whether you have been maintaining a home or rental potentially, and also whether you have been keeping financial ties like bank accounts or other investments in the United States. Having an active job in the US is a big plus, and carrying a recent pay stubs, an employment letter, or even a lease agreement can help prove your case. And here's something important. Never sign a form called abandonment of residency at the airport without legal counsel. If CBP hands you one of these forms and asks you to sign or even pressurizes you to sign, ask to speak with an immigration attorney first. I talk to a lot of attorneys and they tell me that sometimes CBP officers nice talk you into signing that form so that they don't need to process any other paperwork later. So do not sign your green card away by signing that form. Many people have unknowingly signed away their green card rights without realizing what they were agreeing to do. If you are traveling on a non-immigrant visa though, like the H1B or the O1A, CBP wants to ensure that you are still actively employed or the reason that you are trying to enter the US for is still valid. And the biggest red flags here include significant gaps in employment or working in a role that doesn't really match your approved petition. The safest way to prepare is to carry your valid passport with a valid visa stamp, your most recent I-797 approval notice, your recent pay stubs, and also an employment verification letter from your company. If your visa stamp has expired though, you'll need to renew it at a US consulate before returning, which can take time, especially with how the consulates are backed up right now. So plan accordingly for that time as well. For F1 students though, the focus is on whether you're still maintaining that valid student status. You should always note that just having a valid F1 student stamp is not completely enough. You need to also be an actual student while you're having that valid stamp. So if you've taken a break from school, or if you changed universities, or if you're on a OPT or STEM OPT, then CBP might ask for proof that you're still eligible to enter the US. Make sure that you carry your passport, your valid F1 visa, recent I-20s signed by your DSO, and also some proof of enrollment as well as proof of employment if you are working under the OPT. So if you are on the OPT, also bring your EAD card as well. While proof of employment such as a job offer letter or even recent pay stubs is not officially required, I generally recommend to keep it with you because CBP may ask for it. So if you are on the STEM OPT though, carry your I-983 training plan and your employment details. If you are traveling while waiting for an H1B change of status, be extra cautious over there because leaving the US before approval will generally cause USCIS to treat your change of status application as abandoned potentially. Now, different attorneys have different interpretations of this, so it's always important to consult a licensed US immigration attorney before doing such things. But here's a broad general idea for you. If your H1B is approved for consular processing though, you'll need to obtain an H1B visa stamp before re-entering. So plan time for that, like I said. Now, after all of this, the main question still remains, should you travel right now? Now, while these rules have always existed, CBP officers now have more discretion to enforce them aggressively. That's the main detail that you need to understand. This doesn't really mean that these rules did not exist or certain parts of the policy did not exist before. That also means tougher questioning, higher chances of secondary inspection, and an overall stricter experience at the border, even for those with valid visas or green cards. So really, should you travel right now? Well, it depends on your situation. If your trip isn't really essential, consider postponing it. If you must travel, try to keep it short and stay updated on all sorts of policy changes. Overall, do not necessarily freak out because the policies are pretty much implemented based on the law. And if you are abiding by the law completely end to end, I don't think you have too much to worry about. You should be fine if you are a legal person doing all the things legally. You should always consult an immigration lawyer, like I said, before making any future plans because policies might change constantly and they are the best people to help you interpret how things might turn out. And expert guidance can make all the difference. If you found this video helpful though, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more important updates. We put videos like these every single day and you should definitely stay safe and I'll see you in the next one.